Hello everybody, it's Rob back again with another video. How are ya? And today's video, I've been trying to kind of do something along these lines for a little while now, and as you can see from the title of the video, we are going to be talking about mental health. So I wanted to introduce Emma. This is my amazing wife, and you'll see her experience with that kind of thing in a minute. I wanted to first talk about mental health and the stigma attached to it. There's a few that maybe will think watching this video that it doesn't affect them, but everyone has a level of mental health. It's a bit like, if you think of it like physical health, and you can see like the athletes and the fit people who go running, their obviously physical health is maybe higher than other people, and it's the same with mental health. Everyone has a level of healthiness. No. Everyone has a level of mental health. It doesn't matter what experience or what background, what you work in, what you're doing. Those suffer from depression obviously know what that feels like, or maybe they don't, and maybe that's an issue that they have to deal with. And maybe if they're listening to this, something will just trigger something and get you on the right path to hopefully getting some help, which again we'll talk about in a bit. But I wanted to go, this is all open, this is all honest. It could get a bit emotional, couldn't it? So I wanted to first talk about myself and my experience. Not that I'm trying to take anything away from Emma, but so years ago, like many of you will know, I worked in a big company. I was there for many years, and I don't know after how many years, we changed to days and nights. I put that down to how I was feeling at the time. So I started lashing out a little bit, and I went off the rails a bit. And it wasn't until Emma something happened, and Emma said, right, we've got to get you to the doctors. And we had a talk with a few doctors, didn't we? A couple, and then I got signed off work for a couple of weeks, and my work was really good actually. They sort of said, come back when you're ready, and that was kind of sort of crept up, and I was putting it down to, I was thinking of excuses what it might have been, put it down to the night shifts, not eating properly, and that might have been some of it. But it was it was hard going to nights, wasn't it? And it was a bad time. But so the thing I can say about that is that Emma said to me, you need help, so we need to speak to someone. So the difference with many of you maybe watching this, if you're on your own, you won't have that sort of person to kick you in the right direction. So again, what I'd say with that is just talk to someone, just phone someone, put something online, just make that first step. But we're cross paths with this as we go down, and I've got some notes here, that's why I keep looking down. So what did I put? So yeah, so I made kind of excuses, and I think with men especially, you can chirp in on here if you think I'm not, talking wrong, but with men, they don't want to talk, first of all. That's just the nature of some men. But especially when you work in kind of an environment where you've got like a management structure, and maybe they're not, or maybe you think things should be done different, and it kind of eats at you all the time. Every time you go into work and you're like, oh, I've got to do this the wrong way again, and things like that. I think that's just my experience. I don't want to start talking about, but it kind of gets you little bits, eats at you, and then it just comes out in a way that it shouldn't. And obviously, you want to avoid that bottled up amount of sort of pressure that will come out at some point. What did that sound like?
Yeah,
that sounds
definitely.
familiar. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to ask Emma a few questions, and I have got some written down. Bearing in mind we've been together, so we've been married how long now? Since 2005. Yeah. Sure?
I had to think, 2005. So 15 years married.
So we have two grown-up kids, one 16, nearly 17, and one 21. So, Emma, I've got the first question here. So, and feel free to, go off in a, whichever way you want.
Yeah.
What were the first signs? And I know this is, I know we're going off about, obviously this is about, you'll see what the subject is from the title, and we'll get to that, but I just want to lead up to it. Okay, so what are the first signs that you experience of some kind of depression or feeling down or whatever? What was your first experience?
So I think it sort of really kicked off after I had my first child. And I did
Our
go
first
to
child.
our first child. Sorry. And I just didn't feel quite right, and I kept going to the doctors, and eventually they put it down to postnatal depression. Didn't feel like they were listening to me that much.
Okay.
They just sort of wanted to put a label on it, I think, at the time.
Yeah.
And because I'd just had Harley, that was the way they were going. So, so it's definitely once I'd had Harley. But before that, I think, from the age of about 16, 17, I noticed that my moods could change very quickly.
Okay.
And I could be quite emotional at times.
Okay, so you kind of felt sort of down or whatever that was, and you did end up going to see someone, and they put it down to postnatal depression, didn't they?
Yeah.
Okay, so did they give you medication for that?
At the time, no.
They just put it down to
Postnatal
you'll
depression,
feel better after a while.
Yeah.
You've had a big trauma with having a baby, which is massive, obviously, but
try and take things easy, which when you've had a newborn, anyone will know it's a bit difficult.
Okay, so and that went on for a while, didn't it? That went on.
Continued. Nothing changed. If anything, it got worse. Then
Right.
we had our second child, Bradley, and again they just said postnatal depression, even though nothing had changed. Throughout and there's 4.5 years between our two boys, and so I was suffering for that 4.5 years. Nothing had changed. So with postnatal depression, you tend to think it would ease up, but it didn't. But then after having Bradley, they just said, yep, still got postnatal depression. And it wasn't until I'd seen several different doctors that someone started to actually listen to what I was saying rather than just...
And did they give you a diagnosis?
Not straight away. Between actually finding out exactly what was going on, I saw so many different doctors and was put on so much different medication. But then when I finally got to a doctor that listened to me, she saw me for a couple of months, once a week, before she diagnosed anything, and she stopped all the medication that I'd been on, because the medication can make you feel awful if you're on the wrong medication, and I can tell you I've had lots of different
definitely
reactions to different tablets and things in the past. But when I finally got to this one doctor, like I said, she saw me for a couple of months before she even diagnosed with anything. So, and she just listened to me. She wasn't, it was like she wanted to talk to find out about what was going on rather than wanting me to leave after 10 minutes and with a diagnosis, because you can't always diagnose things in 10 minutes.
So what was the outcome?
So the outcome, she referred me to a psychiatrist at a mental health hospital because she thought I had bipolar disorder. I went to the mental health hospital, had a couple of appointments there, and they confirmed that that's what they thought it was, bipolar disorder. They set me up with CBT, cognitive behavioural therapy, which helped a little bit. It sort of helps you. I think it helps different people. Some people it might work for, some people it doesn't. I think with me it helped a little bit because it helped me to sort of try and
do something different,
understand why I was feeling the way I was feeling. And then after that, I was referred back to still under the mental health, but referred back to the doctor that originally said that's what it was. And she looked after me and got me onto the right medication. Again, it wasn't straight away, you know, there was different tablets before they actually worked out what was right. And I've been on medication now for many years. And it does take time, and sometimes you do have to keep going back to the doctors, because sometimes they think you're just going through something, because we all have ups and downs. We all do.
Everyone, every single person.
You know, like we've gone through quite a lot over the last few weeks, health wise and personal wise, you know, different things. And anybody, whether you suffer from a disorder or a mental health, you know, anything, you're going to have ups and downs. So a lot of the time they just want to say, oh, you're just going through a bad patch, you know, take these for a couple of weeks and you're going to be fine.
So along them lines of having ups and downs, bipolar disorder, and again, I'm only sort of the experience I've got is just from what we've gone through. So I'm not going to pretend to know the different angles and variances of depression, whatever that means. But bipolar disorder is a form of depression, but it gives you the highs and lows. So, but there's so many different variances of bipolar disorder also, isn't there? So, and some people, they might refuse the treatment because they like the highs. A very famous person on TV, Stephen Fry, he refuses treatment. I mean, I'm talking like I know for a fact, but I've heard he refuses treatment because he likes the highs and he just deals with the lows. So your medication keeps you sort of stable, doesn't it?
Yeah, the majority of the time.
But like you said, everyone has highs and lows anyway, so it's not like, that's kind of my point.
It's just how they can change so quickly and how long it lasts. So myself, with my bipolar, I tend to have more lows than I do highs. So for me, medication was the right way, because the lows can be horrendous.
Yeah, it's not like,
you know, and they can last for weeks, months, you know, and it's just, for me, it wasn't worth having those couple of days maybe where I'm feeling on top of the world, so happy, want to do everything. The lows outweighed that. So,
but it's not like, it sounds a little bit like, oh, you have ups and downs, so you need treatment. It's not that at all, is it?
Ongoing. It's ongoing. You know, you have cycles of you could have a couple of weeks of lows, a week of high, and then you could be, you know, on an even keel again for ages. But then you have the upset. So it's when it's happening more regularly. That they then will put it as.
But it does sound a little bit like, I mean, it was bad, wasn't it? And what I'm saying is, it's not like you're having a little bit of a low and then a high, so you need treatment. It's not like, this is like, you know, this is...
You get to the point where sometimes you were so low and you just felt like... You feel like you're putting on everyone, even though you're not as such, but you're so low. There was times when I just wanted to get in my car, drive off and never come back. And that wasn't because I don't love my family, because I love them to bits. My husband, my kids, my mum, you know, my sisters, everyone around me, I think the world of. But you sometimes get to a point where you just don't feel that there's any way out. And you don't understand why either, because you could have been having a great day one day, and then the next you're like at rock bottom, and there's no reason for it. So you can't, I don't know how to, it's like you just want to run away from it, and it's just a horrible feeling, because you don't know when you are going to stop feeling like that. And every cycle seemed to feel like it was getting worse and worse. So although people would say to me, well, you got through the last episode, you'll get through this. But when you're going through it, it feels like nothing will make it better. Like, you can't get away from it. It's just... And the highs, sometimes I don't even notice the highs. They're that, you know, they just... To me, a high is like what I should feel like normally if I was not normal because I am normal, obviously.
Yeah.
But
Whatever that is,
you know,
yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's more of a. You notice the highs more than me.
I can tell straight away just by ringing Emma up. If I was at work, I'm not working at the moment, like I've told you, but I can speak to Emma and she can just say something and I know straight away how she is, you know, what sort of level she's on. But so you've had, yeah, let's move on.
But the tablets now, obviously, that I'm on, I don't have.
Yeah, it's
you know, I'm on an even keel. I do have ups and downs still, but nowhere near like I'd had years ago.
And people will say like, oh well, I don't want to be on medication every day, but it's.
I think if it's going to help you.
Definitely, yeah, of course.
You know, there is people that say to me, oh, you know, why do you take medication all the time? But if I don't, I can hit rock bottom again, and I don't want that. So I'd rather take a few tablets a day to lift my mood.
Definitely. So, right. So, obviously the reason we made this video is because of, we've now obviously got our Harley. And partly, and you brought this up a few weeks ago. But first of all, we had bikes years ago, didn't we? And you like did. I had like an old cruiser when, you know, I don't know how old I was, and then I had a sports bike which you didn't like, did you? And then it's been a dream, you know, of mine to own a Harley. So, you know, we got one together in March before lockdown, and now we're on a second lockdown. But you didn't like the bike, did you, to begin with?
No.
You hated it.
Motorbikes don't appeal to me at all. They scare me. I never used to go out with you on your other bikes. It was just something that was your dream, you know.
Yeah, it was.
It wasn't something I ever thought I'd be part of. I literally was petrified of bikes.
But we got you on it, didn't we? We got you on it when we got the shop, when we bought it, the shop supplied a pillion seat. It wasn't the best, and you didn't like it, did you, to begin with? It was quite... Although you went on it a couple of times, didn't you?
Yeah, but that was more issues with my back.
Yeah,
because I suffer with my back, so that was a struggle. But the first time I went on the back of Robbie, because he was like, come on, just try it. And I was like, right, okay, I'll give it a go. I'm not going to like it. And I was scared. I didn't like it. I was holding on really tight, and he wasn't going very fast, but for me it felt like, oh my God, you're going too fast.
Yeah.
You know, he was probably going about 30 miles an hour, but it was awful. But I also saw how happy Robbie was that I was on it with him. And I think in my mind it was like, oh, he likes me being out here on it with him. So I need to try again and again. So after about the third time...
Yeah, you started to enjoy it, didn't you? You started to, and sort of...
Yeah.
The first time, like everyone who's ridden will know, if they've ridden with a pillion, you'll know that you can feel them straight on the back. As soon as you turn a corner or whatever, they're either trying to lean the bike back up or overcompensate. So Emma was like that to begin with, and now I don't even notice she's on the back.
And we have got a new seat now.
So now we've got now we've got a backrest. So obviously I've got a Harley. It's a Softail Slim. We've got a sundowner seat on it now.
Amazing.
With a backrest. It's so comfortable, isn't it?
Yeah.
So can you, again, just looking down at the question, can you put in your own words how it makes you feel when we go out on the back, like when you're pillion and we go out somewhere?
So now I can, if I'm having a bad day, this is how I'm going to start. If I'm having a bad day, I know I want to go out on the bike. And the reason I know is because when I'm sat on the back of the bike now,
Sorry, keep talking.
I just feel like nothing else matters. So whatever I'm dealing with at home or, you know, when I'm not on the bike, it just goes away. It's really mindful. It's like I sometimes close my eyes. I don't always have my visor down fully because I like to feel the wind on my face. I listen out for the different sounds I can hear. I look at everything around me, taking all the trees, the animals, anything I can see. And it just feels like I'm free for a little while. Like it's me. It's my time. I'm one of these people that will always put other people first, will always do anything for anyone if I can. And I never really have much time
for yourself. Me. Yeah.
You know, I'm a wife, I'm a mother, I'm a grandmother, you know, I work. It's so when I'm on the back, it's like I'm me again for a little while, and it's just me time where no one can contact me. So if you're feeling like you just want to let go, it's just, I can't explain it enough. It is amazing. That is my escape, I would say now. That is my way of knowing whether I'm having a bad day or a good day. If I get on that bike, I'm just going to be free for a bit and just enjoy everything that's around me, because you don't notice it all normally. You could walk down the street and pass beautiful trees, you know. You may see a deer or something, but you don't fully enjoy it until you're completely focusing on just that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and what I'd say to add to that is it's very similar if for those that are on their own, maybe they haven't got a partner or whatever, but they're into their bikes. You'll know what Emma's talking about, because although you can't really relax because you're riding the bike, you're in charge of the bike. It gives you that sense of like all your senses are heightened because you're in charge of the bike. The wind's in your face, so I think everyone can kind of that rings a bell with everyone who's got bikes. Do you know what I mean? But I wanted you to say it as a pillion, because there might be people who, especially with wives and that as well, because the blokes like to go out and buy all their toys, don't they? And the wives might feel a little bit like, or the girlfriends, partners, whoever, might feel like, oh, it's his thing or her thing, you know. But it's just being
turned into our thing.
Yeah,
so,
definitely, yeah.
Which is just.
So the next question, I think I know what you're going to say, but the next question is, would you recommend it to people?
No, yeah, of course I would, definitely. But not necessarily just a bike, but that's my escape, and I love it. And I did, I'm telling you, I was petrified of bikes. So, you know, you can, sorry, the dogs. You know, you may not feel the same as I do. You may not get on it after a few times and think, wow. But if you get on it thinking, actually, I'm just going to enjoy what's around me and take in the smells and the noises and, you know, just look at everything around you. It is just, yeah, absolutely amazing. I would definitely recommend it.
So this has been a long video. The thing I've put here, so it does come with kind of a message, this video, and that is that if you're feeling anything like you know you're not yourself, or you're feeling like down or depressed. Depression, I think, when you say depressed, that's kind of like a blanket word, and it doesn't really tell the story. So if you're not feeling yourself, just tell someone. Just tell someone. The worst thing you can do, in my experience, is just lay in bed and let the days go past, or just sit in front of the TV all day.
Yeah, right.
All day.
But like I said, it's not always that easy to drag yourself out of bed. So,
no, that's very true.
You know, or drag yourself off the sofa. But even if you give yourself little steps.
Yeah. So what I would say is, and this has been, I think this has been made quite famous on Twitter and some of the celebrities that endorse this, and they say something along these lines. I may get this wrong. You might not have heard of this, but it's make your bed and get out of bed and make your bed and put your pillows on top, something like that. Which is just kind of, it just basically means just don't kind of just do nothing. So the first thing, like I make my bed every morning, don't I? Every morning. Yeah, I do. Why are you laughing?
Yeah.
So I make the bed every morning, even though I'm not in that place at the moment. You know, I'm doing all right. So I make the bed, pillows on top, and it's just a way to get you out of bed and to do something. A bit like, you know, you don't want to go downstairs in your pajamas, you know, stick the telly on and then just sit there all day. If you're feeling like that, then you need to talk to someone. So what I've put at the end is, obviously this isn't a message for everyone to go out and buy a motorbike, like Emma said.
If you can.
Yeah, like Emma said, it's kind of, this is just the outcome of this video is how being a pillion makes Emma feel. That is the takeaway thing of this video. So you have to find your own thing. If you're not into bikes, you know, just find something that you can get your teeth into and you can switch off, you know, even if, like Emma said, even if it's going out
outside your back door,
going out the front door or even the back door, and just taking everything, all the smells and everything in, just as a first step. You know, just do something. You don't have to put up with it. You know, you can beat whatever it is, but just talk to someone. And the first step in doing that is literally can be a step outside.
Yeah.
Can't it? And you know.
And sometimes it is just giving yourself, even if it's a few minutes a day, just for you.
Yeah.
Whether it's to take a bath or, like I said, stand outside your back door and just close your eyes and take in the smells and the noises.
Maybe put clothes
surprising.
on. Maybe get
It's
dressed.
surprising how much that will help. And it's baby steps to start with.
Yeah, definitely.
We have to start with baby steps and work our way up, you know. And this has taken years for me to find something that I can actually switch off. And, you know, there might be days where it doesn't help, but at the moment, I know that it's just makes me feel like nothing else matters at that moment.
Yeah. And she's pestering me now. She's like, "Come on, let's go out on your bike, our bike."
Yeah.
And now we've got the comms on the helmet, so we can talk to each other. Emma's singing.
It's not quite so peaceful.
Emma's singing and stuff, you know, in my headphones. So I'm going to end this video. It's a long video. What's that? Nearly 27 odd minutes.
Wow.
So this was a video I've wanted to do for a long time, especially now it's kind of on point where we're into our second lockdown. So for those that are feeling like, you know, maybe they feel trapped during the lockdown, just talk to someone.
Even if it's us.
Yeah,
you know,
leave a message, leave a comment or whatever. Like Emma said, just stand in your garden and just take it all in. Like I said, get dressed first, all right? But just a way to start, you know, just a way to start. You're not on your own. Make sure you communicate, you tell someone, but it's making that first step. That's the most important thing, and you're not on your own. Anything you want to add?
No, I don't think so. Just good luck.
So I'm going to end this video. Thanks all for watching. Remember to hit that subscribe button. Don't hit it too hard because I want other people to use it, but make sure you click on it, click the bell icon, leave a comment, say hello to Emma, send her a message, and that's it. All right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Bye.
that's it. See you on the next one.